Hello everybody. So today we're going to discuss review practice problems for summative assessment 5.5, 5.7. And as you can see, we have three different learning targets. First one will be 5.5, write an equation of parallel and perpendicular line. Then we have 5.6, write an equation of best fitting line using scatter plots. And 5.7 will be predict with linear models. So the first few examples will be about parallel, and then we'll do a few examples with perpendicular lines. I will begin with the first one, and I want to make sure you guys remember that when we have given a point, so this is the point, and an equation, the equation is the equation of the first line. So I'm going to put here line 1. This is the equation of line 1. And also another important thing is, in order to complete both equations and rewrite the second equation, you always want to look for y equals mx plus b form. Okay, so that will be the form we're going to use. Well, first thing, match if the line of the first line equation matches perfectly with this equation, slope-intercept form. You can see there's only y on the left side, y is itself, which is pretty good. We do have the equation in slope-intercept form, so what we're going to do, we will begin with the slope. Then m from this equation for parallel line must be the same exact slope. So m equals 4. Again, parallel lines means we're having the same slope. Parallel stays m for the first line should be equal to the m of the second line. So now, since we copied the same slope and we have the point with coordinates x and y, I'm going to use y equals mx plus b form. We'll substitute everything what I know, calculate b, and rewrite the second equation. Excuse me. Okay, so now y is 8 equals 4 times x is 5 plus b. Well, 8 will be equal 4 times 5 is 20 plus b. Last step, subtract 20 from each side, so negative 12 equals b. b is negative 12, m is 4. Now from this information I can conclude that the second line, so line 2, parallel line 2 equation is y equals 4x minus 12. That will be my final answer here. Now, once we are done with the first example, we will go ahead and move to the second example. Second example, again, first thing you want to make sure is line 1 equation, which is this one, is in y-intercept form. So look at this, y equals mx plus b, and look at this, 2y equals to negative 5x plus 12. Definitely those two, they do not match, and the reason for that is because y is not itself written in the equation form. So what we need to do, we need to solve this equation for y first. And when we have 2 times y, the only thing you have to do here is to divide by 2 each one of the sides. So then y is negative 5 over 2x plus 6. This is the first line equation. It's in good form, it's in y slope-intercept form, so then we can go ahead and write down the slope. So the slope will be negative 5 over 2, and we're going to use this point 8 and negative 15. Those are your x and y's. And we're going to use these numbers to substitute in y equals mx plus b form. So y is negative 15 equals m is negative 5 over 2, x is 8 plus b. So that will be equal to negative 15 is equal to negative 5 over 2 times 8 will give you negative 20 plus b. Then I will just add 20 to each side. Those two cancel, so 5 equals b. I have b, 5, calculated. And to complete the example, I'm going to write down. So the parallel line 2 equation is y equals, using this slope, negative 5 over 2x, and b plus 5. That will be the final answer for this example. And we're done with this one. Next example, number 3. And just as a reminder, because you're watching the video and you keep going with me, and you know I would not stop. I will continue working on the problems. If you think that is a little bit fast or you have to rewatch a couple steps, pause the video, play the video from the beginning. You are the one that have the power to use that video right now. So please use those resources. Okay, number 3. This equation again is the equation of line 1. Well, obviously negative 6x plus 2y equals 10 is not what y equals mx plus b form looks like. So we gotta solve the equation for y first. I will move x term as a step 1 to the right side. So plus 6x on each side. Negative 6x plus 6x cancel. We have 2y is equal to 10 plus 6x. Those two are not like terms. Please don't write 16. 6x is one term, plus 10 is another term. They do not look like. Then, next step will be to divide by 2 each one of those 3 terms. So y equation of the first line will be y is equal to 6 over 2. If you simplify this, you will get 3x plus 10 over 2 is 5. So this is the equation of the first line. From here, I will write that the slope is 3, and I'm going to use this point, negative 4 and negative 13, as my x and y, and we'll substitute in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, to calculate what b is, and then write the second equation of the second parallel line. So y is negative 13 equals to m is 3, x is negative 4 plus b. Negative 13 equals negative 12 plus b, plus 12 on each side, negative 1 equals b. So the parallel line 2 will have an equation y equals m is 3x and b is minus 1. So that will be my final answer for this example. Okay, so those are the examples about parallel lines. We are going to do the same steps for the perpendicular lines, and remember, the difference will be the slope. So the slope, in order to be to describe parallel line, we will have to convert to the opposite reciprocal slope. So let's take a look at what is that and how do we work those problems. So the first example, it's already, this is line 1 again, it's already in y equals mx plus b form. As you can see, it's given y equals negative 1 over 5 times x minus 4. Well, that's good. We don't need to solve this equation. So now, perpendicular slope. And I'm using perpendicular sign over here because I want you to remember that you always need to write opposite reciprocal slope. So what is opposite first? Opposite is, if this is negative slope, then my opposite will be positive slope. Then reciprocal means we need to flip those two numbers. So it will be 5 over 1. Well, what is positive 5 over 1? It's just positive 5, right? So the slope of the second perpendicular line will be positive 5. And we're going to use this x and y coordinates of this point to substitute in y equals mx plus b form and calculate b first. So y from here is 7 equals, slope is 5 times x is 2 plus b. So 7 equals 10 plus b. Subtract 10 from both sides. Negative 3 equals b. Once we know b, just like the parallel lines, we will have to write down the parallel line 2 equation, which is y equals, the slope we said is 5, so it will be 5x, and b is minus 3. That stays for the second line equation, perpendicular to the first one. All right. Next example, number 2, that again is line 1. Well, the equation is not in y form, so we got to solve it, which means we will divide by 2 each one of those. So y is 7 over 2x minus 8. This is still line 1 equation. Now, by looking this slope, let's write the perpendicular slope. Perpendicular slope will be m is equal to, this one is positive, so the opposite of positive is negative, and make sure you flip the numbers. So it will be 2 over 7. Then we're going to use this point, 14 and negative 5, for x and y, and we're going to substitute in y equals mx plus b form. So y is negative 5 equals to, the slope is negative 2 over 7 times x is 14 plus b. Negative 5 is equal to, you can type this in your calculator, negative 2 divided by 7 times 14, and you will get that we have negative 4 plus b here. Last step is plus 4 on each side. Negative 5 plus 4 is negative 1b. All right, so perpendicular line number 2 has an equation. Y is equal to, slope is negative 2 over 7x, and b is minus 1. That will be the final answer for this example. So take a moment, write down the steps. If you need to rewatch it, please do so. Otherwise, we're moving to the next example, number 3. So number 3, again, this is line 1. The equation is not in y-intercept form. First thing to look for, so we're going to work this problem, and we will move 9x to the right. Negative 9 plus 9x cancel, and we have 3y is equal to 9x plus 12. Again, 9x and 12 are not like terms. You can't add, you can't subtract those numbers. You leave it like that. Next step is to divide by 3 each one of the numbers. So y equals 3x plus 4. That is the first equation. The slope of the perpendicular line will be equal to, now we have positive numbers, so again negative, it will be the opposite. And you know that when it's just a whole number, it's always over 1, right? So if we need to flip those, it will be 1 over 3. The slope is negative 1 over 3. And the point we're going to use will be negative 9 and 8 for x and y. So y equals mx plus b. Y is 8, m is negative 1/3, times x is negative 9 plus b. Okay, we're solving the equation for b, so 8 equals negative 1/3 times negative 9 will give you 3 plus b. So negative 1 divided by 3 times negative 9, the answer should be positive 3. Now solving for b, we want to subtract 3 from each side, and we get 5 equals b. Okay, so to finalize the problem, we're going to write the perpendicular line 2 has an equation, y equals, we said the slope is negative 1/3 x, and b is plus 5. So with this, we will conclude first learning target of the test. Okay, perfect. Pause the video if you need. If not, we're moving to next learning target.